Can you see my screen?
Yes, yes, I can see your screen.
Okay. So um this is I updated I my plan was to actually update this whole sheet and share, but I didn't finish it. But I did update. So first, from based on where we stopped last week and now, what has changed is we have more things on think, say, feel. I don't have anything on do yet. But number one is I so the products I'm working on, there are three user types. And I've started I'm going ahead already. I have three major user types, right? The parents, the teachers, and the school administrators. Don't forget that what I am working with, the case study I am working with is um, the case study I am working with is a school management system that can allow parents to see grades and information about their students very easily. Of course, this also helps school administrators to put together to manage students' data also easily. Um, yeah. So I have three user categories. And the first thing is, so this think safe field, what I've done um, also was to, especially for this thing, rather than put it exactly, because some of this thing wasn't exactly um, what the person said, right? Wasn't exactly what the person said, some of them at least. So some of them are also things that that just assume that the interview was going on. So some of it are like some things that you gleaned. So for example, they think while the person did not exactly say that they have difficulty reaching working parents, from some of the things they said, it sounds like they feel or they think there's actually difficulty working reaching working parents and some of this. But first, the major things, because there are three different colors here. Again, like I said, I this might not be the best practice, but this is the practice I use. If I have multiple users, I put I put the each user as a color. So everything that is this blue color on this empathy map belongs to the parents. Everything that is this like whinish, whatever color is this, it belongs to school administrators. And this yellow one is the teachers. That's the first thing that I did. Then again, the feel feel is feelings, emotions. Like, for example, there's frustration with inefficient communication systems. There's anxiety about data breaches. There's concern about the adoption of a new platform. There's disconnection from the school, like they feel disconnected from the school authority. There's an feeling of like this parent feels overwhelmed by technology because they are not tech savvy. Um, this feels frustrated with lack of communication from school, anxious about children's academic progress. These are parents. Teachers feel disconnected from parents. Teachers feel frustrated with the current system inefficiencies. Teachers feel overwhelmed. So these are feelings, basically, emotions, concerns, overwhelmed, feeling frustrated, anxious, feeling of rage, feeling of like all those things. That's this one. What they say, like direct quotes, for example, this person says, we need a platform that is user friendly for both teachers and parents. This is a school administrator that is saying this. School administrator said, the current system is prone to errors. Parents said, I don't have time for parent-teachers meetings. Parents said, school websites are difficult to navigate. Teachers said, we need a secure way to share assignments and resources electronically. Teacher said there's difficulties translating parent-teachers meetings. A teacher said paper notes often get lost. So these are things that have been said. And of course, thoughts, like I said the other time, some of them might not be entirely said. You might be gleaning them from what they've said and what they feel and what they do, or maybe also they set their thoughts out, um, and stuff like that. So that's the first thing that is different. So like I said, I was meant to finish this, but I didn't get a chance to actually. My week has been very, very busy, so I didn't get a chance to actually populate the do section. Now, I see that at least you guys have started putting together your empathy. Sorry, I won't be able to review it tonight to give correction. I'm not very. Let's just take this to the next step, and I'll try and review during the week and just give pointers. But you can already see, some of the, like, the way I've put together my own empathy map, and the way I've just placed it, and some of the things that are there. So those can also guide you in making unnecessary adjustments. But aside that, the next thing really is. So do we so far, do we have some understanding of empathy map so far? Let me ask. Try to put new stuff into you. Do you have some understanding of empathy maps?
Yes. 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 Clear now.
Okay. Thank you, Victoria. So.
Yes, I do. I have an idea of what it is now.
Okay. So.
Sir, I do.
Okay, all right, cool. So let's just moving on to the next section. Again, for the next part, I'll try and populate everything so that I'm explaining, I'm not actually doing it here. But the next section is, so now at this point now, we are practically done with empathy. I've done the interviews, we have put together our interview notes. From our interview notes, we've put together the empathy map. So we are now at define. And for define, what we are trying to do is we want to identify common themes and patterns. We want to build user personas. And also we want to define the problem statements that we want to work on. That's what we want to do during defining. So the first thing is the first thing basically is the putting together common things. There's something called affinity diagramming. Affinity diagramming basically is you trying to put together things that are similar into buckets. Do you get I'm trying to say, like, putting together, looking through everything you have and putting looking through everything you have and basically putting your observations and just bringing it into patterns, like trying to identify patterns basically from all the information you have, or from all the data that you have, and then, like, see how are each of these ideas, how are they related to each other. Then you are then bringing the things that are, like, very related, you are putting them together as a, maybe like put a sub heading to it or something like that. But what you're trying to do basically at the end of the day, what you're trying to do is finding things and patterns, and affinity diagram just basically helps you. I know it still might sound somehow, but what we want to do is simple. We will look through our empathy map, all the information that we have from our empathy map, and then what we need to now start doing is, let's start sorting things that are similar together. Don't forget that currently the color codes, I have 3 different users. So the color codes are focusing on the user type. Teacher, the one at the top. Blue is parents, The last one is like yellow is teacher, please parent, and this pinkish one or whatever color this is school administrators. However, whatever information all these people give us, we can still put them into buckets. I think that's the easiest way to think about it, like putting them into buckets. So the question is, how do you identify the buckets? And the answer is simple. Look at each of the items that are on your empathy map, each one of them. So pick the very first one, put it somewhere, and then start grouping, start looking through what are the things that are similar to that? What are the things that are different to that? Is it making sense? Are you guys with me? I just want to be sure that. Is it making sense? We'll start doing it now, but is the explanation making sense so far?
Yes.
That's good. Chinonso. Go ahead, Chinonso. Go ahead.
Okay, so I wanted to ask a question.
Okay.
Okay, for instance, you're carrying out this interview on the parent section and you are getting detailed information such as their names, their age, and
Mhm.
or your this thing, user flow, creating the user flow. Are you to individually give each person a color, though you might group all of them like under
Chinonso,
the parent?
I lost you at some point. Can you take the question again?
Okay, so this is my. I was saying this that let's say for instance you're carrying out this interview and you're getting, for instance, under the parent section, you're getting the names of each of these parents individually. You're also getting the names of individual school administrators of the rest. Now, under the parents axis, where you're writing where you bring out their questions and bring out the interview questions and the answers you got from individual parents. Do you group? Okay, that's for instance, mommy Amanda. All the answers she gave, is it supposed to carry a particular color? And then maybe Emeka, the whole of Emeka's reply, is it supposed to carry a particular color? Or all of them, because they are under the parent section, you just give them a particular color?
Do you mean under when you're putting together your interview notes, like here?
Yes.
So I think I mentioned that last week. As much as possible, you can group them this way. Like, see, I put a heading, teachers, and I put participants 1, participant 2. Each person has a color. And you can also put the color code. You can maybe put like a legend at the top of the teachers here or something. Or it doesn't matter. Self. Just, you can, if you have multiple users, you can group them. Teachers. So the teachers already has a heading teachers. Or you can do section, for example, you can create a section on this stuff. I can create a section like this. So let's say I created a section. I title this section parents. Now let's say so this is a section now. So and I think it's best to actually just even use sections to put together your stuff really. So say I've created this section now. This section is parents, right? So let's say inside this section I can now bring text, put participant 1 like this. Then let me duplicate this. Then put the details of participant 1. Then when I'm putting the details, so this is then maybe a color like this. Let's say this color. So by the time I am done, so let's just say I'm coming. So let me just to then make a copy. Let me select, introduce participant 2. Color is green. Do you see how I'm doing it, Chinonso?
Yes, I'm seeing what you're doing.
So let's say I have 3 participants for parents. Now, participant 3. So let's now say that I want to now do another, like for school administrators. I can just so I just duplicated this whole section. Duplicated the whole section, then change the name to school admin, participant 1. So also, because you don't have a lot of colors, so some of those colors might be repeated. Do you get? But as much as possible, just keep changing colors. So for example, now the way it is, I have two user types. If I then, I think using sections is better. So if I need to look at parents, I can even color code each section. For example, I can color code each section such that okay, yeah, color code this section. This is, let's say, red. See the, okay, let me make this another obvious color actually. Okay. You see the difference, right? Also.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I
So,
can see the difference.
so I have grouped parents together. Inside parents, so if I need to find anything for parents, I come into the parent section. But inside parents, each participant carries a color. So participant 1's color is different from 2, is different from 3, so that when you are looking at it, you always know which participants are you looking at. Then if you need to look at school administrators, so of course, this color, for example, this participant 2 on school admin and participant 3 on parents is still the same color. However, I am in school admin, so the concerns are different. Like, I don't need to, I know that I'm in school admin, so I'm focused on just what's in school admin, basically. So each participant in school admin also has their own color. Then for teachers, we are the same. So our advice using sections. I think the Marv, you guys, I think you use mostly sections to section your stuff out, which is nice. It's cleaner, really. So using sections like this makes it cleaner. Yes, go ahead. Okay. All right. So this is cleaner. Now, so let's go back to what's it called now? To empathy map. So something important to note also is so another important thing to note is this. Now, ideally, what I would advise, especially if you are using, again, these are just tips and tricks that I use. They might not be best practices. I don't know, but those are the ways I do it. If I'm using maybe, if what I'm focused on is really one user type, right? Or max 2 user types. One other thing I can do is I can maintain the same colors that are here. Because at this point now, by the time it gets to empathy map, it's no longer which teacher, which participant said this, or which participant is thinking this. It's a matter of these are the thoughts of these are all the think section for all the participants. Do you get? So one thing I can do is, rather than the way I've used multiple colors, like that the colors on empathy map is different from the ones on the interview notes. Another thing I can do is I can just, for example, participants 1, let's say I want to put this on thing. I can just duplicate this, Control D to duplicate and move it. Like, so it's going to be that color. Do you get what I'm saying? You guys get what I'm saying? What I'm saying in essence is there are two. Okay, let me put it this way. There are 2 ways I will go about this. Because I'm using multiple, like 3 different user types, and I'm considering these 3 user types, I have decided that on my empathy map, I am using each user type to have a particular color. However, I could also do it that I am not using each color for each user type. I am just carrying the color code from the same color code from the interview notes. So I just duplicate and move it to the empathy map straight up. Does that make sense? So for me, the reason I've done this is so that when I'm thinking through things, I can separate concerns. But by the time I do the next thing, you see that it doesn't really matter. It won't really matter again. Does this make sense to you, Victoria Chinosoma? Does this make sense? Or should I explain it again? Or can you guys hear me?
Please, can you explain it again? Your this thing is breaking at my end, so I just
Okay. Sorry about that. Victoria Mav, can you guys hear me clearly? Is it better on your own side?
Oh, yes, I can hear you clearly.
And do you understand what I've said?
Yes, I understand. With the colors, I understand.
I don't understand because you said this empathy map now that you have here with this color notes or something. You're saying something about dragging. Like I'm not understanding.
So, okay, this is what I'm saying. Let me just show you. Instead of, right now, I told you that for example, on each quadrant of the empathy map, I told you that I have used a color each for a user type. So blue represents parents. So everywhere you see blue on this empathy map, you know that this is coming from parents users. Everywhere you see this yellow, this is coming from this mustard yellow. This is coming from teacher users. And the last color, this is coming from school administrators. Now, that's the way I have done it. But I'm saying that I could also just, for example, let's say this is my think quadrant, right? Let's say this is my think quadrant. I could also just do for the sticky note that I want to bring to think. I can just Control D. I'm doing Control D, like Control D is duplicate. I'm duplicating it so that because I don't want to move it away from here. I want a copy. Again, don't forget what I said last week. As much as possible, each section duplicate things and move to the next section. Don't move things from one section to the other. Duplicate, then move to the next section. So, for example, let's say this is on think. I duplicate it and I move it to think. Now, I don't care. Sorry, send it back. At this point, I don't care whoever this is for. I don't care if this is if this is for teachers or this is for admin, or this is for whatever, because then I can also bring it from here. I can duplicate this and just also bring it for here, because this is also think. So at the end of the day, I can have like I can have an empathy map like this, where I have, let me look for another color. Which other color do we have? Let me just say, where even though there are 3 user types, however, because there are plenty, there are like a lot of participants, and each participant have their own colors. So I'm just bringing the color of the participants over and not the color of the user type. Do you get? So this now, when I'm looking at it, I don't care that green is for a teacher or something. I don't even know, because there could also be green in school admin, for example. Okay, so there's green in teacher, there's green in parents. So at this one, I don't even know if it is green for parents or green for teacher. But at the end of the day, it is one of the things that goes into the think quadrant for all the user types. Does it make sense? So it depends on what I'm trying to paint is, it depends on what I want to do. If I think that it's easier for me, it will be easier for me to understand things and separate them by color coding the user category, then I can go with that. If I think that it doesn't matter if I color code or not, because the next stage, I don't even need the color code. The next stage, I'll change the color codes entirely. So it doesn't matter where it is coming from. If so I can just bring colors, whatever colors over, then I don't need to color code based on user category. That's what I'm trying to drive at. Does it make sense now, Victoria?
Yes, it does.
All right, Chinonso, does it make sense?
It does. I think I understand what you were trying to explain, but then one more question.
Okay.
Let's say, for instance, under your, like, you have 2 target audience, and due to the fact that we have limited color codes, let's say the way you did that purple on your participant or participant 2, now under that's under the teacher section, and then under the school admin you also have a purple there. Are you to create a different empathy map for each section, or each section will use one empathy map, not minding the fact that there is repetition of colors from both sections?
Okay, so thanks for that question. So number one, I would say a number of times, really. And for this, I'm not even sure of the right answer. If you're looking at multiple user categories, right, should you use the same empathy map or should you use different empathy maps? For me, I would say at the end of the day, it's one product that you're trying to solve. It's one product that you're trying to work. And this product will be interrelated, right? There'll be needs of this user category that will relate to needs of this other user category. So I would say, again, this, I'm not sure. But usually most of the projects I work on have and I do discovery for, there's a major user category that we are trying to really understand, not multiple, 1 or 2. So I use one empathy map. But in a case where you have maybe 3 or 4 user categories, which honestly, I don't think you should be having like 15, like 5 user categories. It's too much. Just find a way to merge them. But in a case where you have 4, I don't know the best answer. But I would say still use, since if it's the same product, I'll say still use one empathy map. Now, there are 2 options. Because the question is, there's green in teachers, then there's green in participant 2. Then there's this color, there's this participant 3 under parents. That is also the same color with this participant 2 under school admin. So doing colors are limited and all. Should you separate empathy maps because of colors, or should you put everything together? 2 options. Number one, exactly the way I've done this one, this first empathy map, where I decided to then color code that I am not carrying over the participant color from the interview notes. I'm not carrying that over. What I'm doing instead is, once I bring that information to the what's it called, the empathy map, I color code. I give one color code to one user type. So one color for teachers, one color for all participants, for all parents, one color for all school admin. So even if I have 15 colors under parents, those 15 colors become color blue. Now that's option one. Does that make sense so far, Chinonso?
Yes, perfectly. It does.
Yeah. Option two now is, if I feel like it doesn't matter, like, because the next thing we want to do, we don't necessarily need these color codes, really. The color codes will change, and I'll show you why I think it should change in the next thing I want to do. So if I feel like it doesn't matter who is saying what, that the problems or the things if you do, like they cut across, that they are similar, and they, like, different people, different user categories having similar problems that are basically categorized, that can be categorized the same at the end of the day, then I don't necessarily need to color code. I can just bring exactly the color to the empathy map. So which is what I've done, which means if I bring it here, I wouldn't exactly know, is this color, was it a teacher that taught this, or a parent? I just know that it is thing for one of the users, because knowing if it's parent or teacher doesn't really matter. Do you get what I'm saying? So it depends on what works best for you. Like I said, these are best practices. These are not exactly best practices. These are just, for me, I don't know these guys like theory. I just know how to get my hands dirty and do and get information, get research, put it together, understand what I'm doing, do the empathy map and go. So it is what works best for me. Do I need to color code, or do I not, or will I not need color codes? I make that decision and I go on. So you can try both and see the one that works best for you, depending on research. However, if you're using basically, maybe what you are doing is just maybe health tech, that is just patients and doctors, then you maybe not necessarily even color code, just bring colors from the notes into the empathy map. But whichever one works best for you, the goal. And I can check more and see the best practice and share best practice with you eventually. Maybe by next week or during the week, I can share best practice with you. But right now, I'll say try it, whichever one works best for you. Does it make sense, Chinonso?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. So let's go to the next part. Next part really is, like I said, we want to identify things. Basically, we want to just identify things. And now what we are going to be focusing on is the things under empathy map. So again, for me, what I will do, let me create a section. I think I want to start using sections now. I'll create a section. I'll create a section. Okay, someone's trying to join my pool. Okay, I'll create a section. I'll basically just, again, for me, I could do what I want to do now. I could do it on this empathy map. But basically for me, I just like each section to be on their own. So say I duplicate all my empathy maps, Control D, I bring it into this section. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, who is Victoria, please, can you mute? Thank you.
Hey, I'm so sorry. Sorry.
No problem. Fine. Okay. So don't forget my do field is still missing, but I just so for this, let me just put it affinity. Let me just label it affinity diagram. Or I can name it patterns slash themes, whatever. But what we want to do next, Sha, is we want to identify patterns. We want to categorize. So, and okay, so I'll put this here, which will link to a new section. Again, this might not necessarily be how it is done, but I don't mind me, I won't mind doing it this way. It just leads to this section. I just want that to I'm coming. Sorry, I'm trying to. Okay, I don't need to. I don't need this one. So what I'm doing basically is I don't want to move things from the empathy map here. I want it to remain. So I've created more or less like I just created a duplicate copy, and I'm going to basically delete everything that is on here. Just going to delete this. I think that's okay. Now the preparation done. So what I want to do next is looking at all these things. I want to start, for example, let me just pick inefficient communication methods. Let me pick this one first. Sorry. I want to pick this one and move it here. What I'm doing will make sense to you now. Just give it a minute. Okay. Now, inefficient communication methods, right? So looking at all these other, wait, please give me a minute. Hi guys, sorry about that. Okay, so what I want to start looking at now is, don't forget, and this is the reason, you see the reason why I said that by this point now, the color code might not, might not need, because I'll be changing them. So I am looking at all the things that are here. So I've seen one that says inefficient communication methods. Now, are there any one of them that are similar to that? Or okay, another thing I could do. Okay, let me do this. I think that would be easier for us to just flow with. Sorry. I'm coming. I'm trying to return it to before I delete it. Okay. Delete. delete. So at this point, I no longer am making it an empathy map. So I've just deleted everything. So I have all these things together, right? Now let's start sorting. So I've seen something that says inefficient communication methods, right? Let's say I move this. Let me just move this. Are there other things that are similar that also has inefficient that has to do maybe with that's similar to maybe this communication, for example? That's what you're trying to do. Or okay, so I'm looking at I'm still looking through. I see this one says that limited understand challenges with parents teacher conferences, large class sizes, language barriers. So the question is, this one now, challenges with parent teacher conferences. Does this sound like it's a, like, what does this sound like? Let me put it that way. Does this sound like a section that we've already seen, which is communication, or does it sound something else? Hello, guys, are you with me? Hello?
Yes, I'm with you.
So what does this sound like? Challenges with parents, teachers, conferences. I deleted some part of it, unfortunately. Let me look for it and just put it up.
I think it's under communication.
Okay, you think it's under communication. Who else? Who agrees? Who disagrees?
Yeah, the parent teachers meeting is for communication normally. So if there's inefficiency in it, it should be under communication.
Okay. So if that's the case, so challenges with parent-teacher conferences. So that's something else. So you notice what you are already doing is trying to group things together, right? So this says that data security concerns. This is a totally different thing, right? A totally different problem. If you agree, this looks like a totally different thing. So what I do, ideally, assuming we were in an office space where everybody is together, instead of this on system that we are doing this thing, all these sticky notes will be on the board, like on the maybe on the marker board or whatever. All these things will be there. So we'll be looking at it together and moving stickers from one place to another, from one place to another. Do you get? Just to put things together. So data security concerns. This looks like it doesn't look like it's inefficient communication methods, right? Or has to do with communication. So then we keep looking. What else? What else is on? What else is on here? Concerns about child's performance when attending boarding school. So there's concerns about child's performance when attending boarding school. We are not sure of where to put this yet, so we can just put them separate. Let's just stay somewhere. Let's look through. So far, we've seen communication, we've seen something about data security. Can we find anything related to that? So we can see need for data security and privacy. We can see that here. So I'm just trying to optimize the sizes so that what you are doing, are you getting a hang of it gradually?
Yes.
So need for data security and privacy compliance can come in. So one of the things you can start doing, or maybe before that, let's still leave it. So I'm like looking at all these sticky notes and I'm moving them around. What I would have done is I'll look at it here and then move it to this board so that this board is fresh. But intentionally just left it like this so that we really see what I'm trying to do. In summary, what we're doing is sorting. Look at all the things that are there. we want to sort them into things that are similar. So like you're putting things that are in similar buckets, you're putting them together. That's all you're doing. That's mainly what you're doing. So there's also something here that says we need a secure way to share assignments and resources electronically. From the things that we've seen so far, where will this go? Guys, work with me here. I have a few, like I said.
Please repeat it again.
Okay, if it's, can you see my screen? Okay, let me increase my size of screen. So can you see my screen? This one,
yes,
we need a secure way. We need a secure way to share assignments and resources electronically.
I think this one goes under data security.
Okay, so data security concerns and privacy. So again, another one here. Then this one, I don't have time for parent-teacher meetings. Where can that go?
That will go into communication, because we had one about.
Like so let's say that it goes to communication. Again, the first time that you sort this, like it doesn't mean that that's the way it has to be. Do you get what I'm trying to say? For example, if while sorting, I then start discovering that, oh, parents, teachers, like I see some things around parent teachers meetings, around availability and co. So this might no longer be, for example, this one is basically saying that I don't have time for PTAs. It could, at the end of the day, even though we've moved it to communication for now, it could have, at the end of the day, maybe when we see something else that is closer to this, and that this relates with more, without and that is not very, very into communication, then that becomes like a category on its own. I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense to you guys.
Oh, yes, it does.
Yeah. So, for example, this also says challenges attending parent-teachers meetings. Let's put it here. Limited understanding of traditional report cards. Where does that go to? Limited understanding of traditional report cards.
I think we don't have anything like that, so that will be a different section. Huh?
Okay. But again, could this, you know that understanding of report cards could also translate to a communication problem?
Yes.
Yeah. So the question is, does it stay on its own and start forming a new section, or does it still go to and stay with communication? So do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, for now it could be under communication. Then later, if we find something related to it, then we'll move it to that side.
Okay. Chinon, so Victoria, Maki, are you guys with me? Are you understanding what I'm trying to do? Hello, are you guys with me? Can you guys hear me? I'm not seeing the screen, so I don't know if you're. So do you understand what I'm trying to do?
I'm not understanding. I came late, I'm sorry. But
oh, okay, Maki, okay. So Maki, let me just do a very, very quick recap, very quick, because of you. Before now, we had interview notes. We've put our interview notes together. This is teacher's interview notes, parents interview notes, school admin interview notes. After that, like all this we explained last week, after that, we've then created our empathy map. You understand it up to creating empathy map, right? You understand the process up to creating empathy map. So, by the time we finish empathy map, we are done with empathize phase. We are now getting into the define phase. And the things that you are doing in define are basically, number one, you want to find common patterns or common things And the tool, this affinity diagramming is a framework, is a tool that we use in understanding patterns or themes. So that is where we are now, basically. So what I did here was I created a new section, but I duplicated my empathy map because, again, like I said last week, even though I have interview notes here, responses here, I still have them here. And even when I wanted to do things for my empathy map, I did not move everything here. I made a copy of the things here and put them on my empathy map so that I can have them here. So for my empathy map too, I always want to, when I come back, I always want to be able to see my empathy map. Maybe, for example, when you are putting together your portfolio and you're writing this case study, you will want to take a screenshot of your empathy map, for example. So I want everything to be intact. So I created a new section. I copied, I duplicated it and put it there, right?
Yes.
Now, so I just duplicated and put it here. But this is where I'm actually doing. So everything here is the same thing that is here. At the end of the day, I'm going to delete one of them. I'm going to delete this first one. I first created it so that I can use it to explain the flow, really. But at the end of the day, I'll delete it because this is where I'm going. But what I'm doing mainly is, so what I did then was, I just deleted this, like the things say field do. I just deleted the box so that all the sticky notes are still together. Now, all these sticky notes are still the sticky notes here. They are still the sticky notes in my empathy map. That's what I want to use now. Do you understand that point?
Yes.
Now, what we are then doing is, the first we want to do for define is, we want to identify patterns. The second thing then is we'll create user persona. The third thing is we will write the problem statement, and we'll write the problem statement, and we can also create user persona before even these patterns and things. But let's focus on this first because this is where one of the major work is. But this is what we use to then generate the problem statement. So that problem statement is now what we'll take into the ideate phase, where we'll now be thinking of ideas, different ideas. But first, what we want to do is, we have all these cards. We want to sort them into buckets. Now, which bucket are we sorting them into? We don't know. So what we will do is, we will look at all these cards that are here, every single one. You know, we've broken down the cards and all those things. We'll look at every single one of them that are here and start sorting them. So the thing that we did first was, we just picked one of the cards that was like a problem. We picked it and we put it in one corner. Then we look at something else. We picked it to put it in another corner. Then as we look at each of these cards, we are reading it and we are thinking, where can we put it? Can it fit into the ones that we've already seen, or should they stand alone? For example, this is a new one. There is no centralized platform for sharing information. So this is one of the things that are here. Where can we place them? We know that we've seen something about communication in the past, right? Does this sound like a communication thing, or does it sound as something else? For example. And Maki, do you understand what they're trying to do? Hey, Maki has left too. Okay, no problem. Let's just go ahead. And Victoria, welcome back. Do you understand what you're trying to do, Victoria? Or what we've been doing?
I'm struggling to understand, honestly, because I keep getting bumped out and I'll join, get bumped out. The network is
okay. Sorry about that. Let me just explain the logic. Let me just explain the logic behind it again, and I hope we get it. So right now, we have think, say, feel, do. Like that different. Let's say that, okay, for example, everything here from the case study I'm working on, everything here are information that has come up from 15 people, 15 assumed 15 people. But in your case, let's say you've interviewed like 20 people or 10 people. All these things are things that have come from these different sources, which have sorted them into your empathy map. Now, they've said different things at different times. However, you know that some of the things they've said fits into, like you can group them together. For example, we are looking, this case study is basically focused on a school management system that also allows parents to see reports like performances of their children, right? Now, I've interviewed a lot of people. You know, a number of people have said things around, maybe school administrators, they could have said things around, oh, the for example, in this case, we've had some where today the general way that they disseminate information, one of the best ways is through parents teachers association meetings. However, we have parents that are not able to, so some teachers have said that, oh, parents don't come for PTAs. School administrators have said that I can't make PTA, and that parents don't come for PTAs. Parents are also saying that, oh, because of my work schedule, I hardly am able to make PTAs. Know that these are different people that have said different things at different instances, but all of them are similar. PTA meetings. Right, Victoria?
Yes.
So what we are doing in essence is we are then trying to look at all these things that people have said. Which one of them are similar? Which one of them can we bundle together? You get?
Yes, I get you.
So that is what we are trying to do. Exactly what you are trying to do. So the process of doing it is, Chinonso, do you understand? Chinonso, do you also understand that logic of what we are trying to do?
Yes, I understand.
Okay.
Yeah, I do.
Okay. So now, understanding that logic, having a good understanding of that, of what you are trying to do. Okay, so you know that what you are trying to do is basically trying to identify patterns, or trying to put things into teams, like trying to put things into buckets. So you know that at the beginning, by the time you put your empathy maps together, all of them, at that point, you are not thinking about the team. You are just putting what has the person said, what does the person do, what does did the person feel, what were the person's thoughts or assumed thoughts, right? So at that point, we're not thinking about, oh, this person and this person said the same thing. So your goal now, your primary goal now is using everything that all these people have said. Now you want to get into that thoughts, that headspace where you are looking at each of the things that have formed your empathy map, and you are trying to group them together. So far, these ones here, these ones here, I hope you can see my cursor.
Yes, I can.
see.
These ones here, we've grouped them together. These ones here, we've grouped them together as data, compliance, privacy. These two here, we've not touched it yet, right? However, the other thing that I was talking about, that I said, was that even though you have grouped things together, even though you have brought some things together, it doesn't mean that what you've done the first time is the way it will remain. You will still like look at it again. After, okay, you've optimized it. Maybe, for example, we find something else that ties more to, that does not fit a particular pattern on very well, that we need to put in a separate space, like to have its own definition. And there were now some things that we've already put together with something that has patterns that fits more into this new category that we've just discovered. You know that it means that we'll need to move those things away from where we put them before to come to this new category that we've discovered that makes more sense. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does.
So the logic or the job here that we are trying to do is we are trying to look through everything and categorize. For example, okay, so there's something else again, concern about data privacy. We know we've seen things about data privacy before, so we move it. Let's go and stay with data privacy. So see this one now. Report cards lack details and clear explanations. Where can this go to?
Communication.
Communication. So we move it here. Now, if you are looking at communication, so the question then is so those are like some of the things that now start going through your head is. So we are looking at report card lack details and clear explanation, inefficient communication method, challenges with parent teachers conference. I don't have time for PTA meetings. Do you think all of them still fit the same category? If yes, you continue. If no, you split them further. But let's still assume that yes. There's also one here, limited understanding of traditional report cards. Is it communication or something else?
Communication. Yeah.
So let's say we move it to communication. Does it make sense, Chinonso? Do you get Chinonso, Victoria?
Yes, it makes sense.
Okay. So this person says frustration with outdated school websites. Wow. What category can this fall into? It doesn't matter that we can't find a category. If we can't find a category for it, we can always just move it, put it separate, and come back to it. Do you get? So frustration with outdated school websites, to me, it could sound like it's part of communication, but I'm not 100% sure. So let me just move it here and see maybe something else will come and meet it. Then, okay, so see, school websites are difficult to navigate. There's something else here. School websites are difficult to navigate. Now, is this communication? Actually, this should be communication, really. But that's what I think, though. But what do you think? Because you are doing it together. And again, if this is what you face, if you are doing this as a team, you need to move. Then a team member will say, "Oh, it fits more into this because of this, and go." But for you guys, school websites are difficult to navigate, and this frustration with outdated school websites, where should it be?
Can we put this one with the website? Can we group it as a different category, so it doesn't mix up with the communication?
Okay, Chinonso, Victoria, what do you think?
Yes, I share the same view. I think it's more like feedback.
Okay, all right. So put together. Victoria, how about you? Hi, Victoria. Are you there?
I'm here. Oh. It's breaking.
Oh, sorry. So you didn't quite hear them. So I was just basically asking frustration with outdated school website and school websites are difficult to navigate. That should we move it as a different section, a category on its own, or put it together with communication? And
I think
go ahead.
Okay, they said what?
They said put it in a different category for now until we know more.
Yes, I think I would go with them too.
Okay.
Sure, it's into communication, but not completely.
Okay, all right. So you already see how right now you're not thinking about things if you do, right? Or so far, what we've done. Have you thought about anything else aside from where do I put this thing? No, right now it seems like all your brain is working towards, okay, where do I put this thing? How do I categorize this thing? That is that's the core of that's the reason why all these things are in phases or in stages. So you are doing them step by step. You like by the time you are here, you are no longer thinking, oh, is this a feeling? Is this a thought? Is this an action? you are now into, okay, is this problem the same thing as this other problem, or is this feedback that is there, is it the same as this, or should it stay in another section? So we see something else. I wish I could communicate more effectively with my child's teachers. Where does it go to? That sounds pretty straightforward. Communication, right?
Yeah, communication.
I need a quick and easy way to get updates from school. Where does it go to?
Communication.
Communication.
So there's this one, time consuming administrative tasks. Do we have anything yet?
I don't think we have anything.
No. So let's put it on a different side. Then we'll find a category.
So we can bring it in. You see how I'm just moving things around on the board. So I've brought it down here. Then there's no, I saw one other one that was similar. There's also one here, time consuming manual data entry. Similar to this one that we just saw.
Yes, it should go there.
Limited technical support staff.
That should go up.
Up where?
That place we put more like feedback or complaint.
No, so right now you know that feedback or complaints. Now we are grouping problems that are similar.
Okay.
Yeah, so I feel this one has to do with admin too, so we should bring it down.
Okay. So time-consuming time-consuming administrative tasks, technical support staff. So those are like similar. Frustrated with current systems inefficiencies.
That should go
down.
I don't think that should be there.
So we are not sure. Let's still say stay on your own for now. Frustrated with lack of communication from school.
That's communication.
Communication. So you see, like, so that we don't drag this for too long. You've gotten the concept, right?
Yeah.
That's the important thing that I want you to get.
Yeah.
I would love to go on. You know me, I like talking. I would love to go on, but like I said, I've been out since morning, yesterday, planning something. So I have to be there extremely early tomorrow. So I just need to do as much as we can, and then we take a rest today. Ideally, I should have cancelled, but I wanted us to still continue. So what I can do, ideally, once I'm done with all this, like everything should now be together. What I could do, I'll just make a duplicate, but assuming we finish this, you don't need to duplicate it because everything will now be in their own bucket, right? So let's assume that everything here is now in. Let me just move. Let me delete all these ones. So right now, okay, there's also this one. Let's just quickly look at this. There's no centralized platform for sharing information. There's no centralized platform for sharing information.
That's communication.
Yeah, communication.
Paper notes often get lost. Okay, wait, let me remove this one. Don't worry. Let's not go through. Let me just remove this one. Now, we have grouped these ones together, right? Data. So what I could then do is I lay them out carefully now. I color code it. Again, you notice, okay, I think all you guys were on the call from the beginning. Okay. You notice that at this point now, the color code that was coming from here, from empathy map, or from this guy, it doesn't really matter much again by the time I get here, right?
Yes.
Okay. So that's the reason why I said the empathy map, just do, in my opinion, again, I don't know the best practice, but just do the one that works best for you, however you want to put it. Now, so I can do this, and I can then bring maybe a text and put at the top here and say, okay, oh, this one, no, it represents data security and privacy. Does it make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So I've put it here now. So you look at, then again, it's important to look at all these things again after. Now we've said communication, but communication can also be broken down further sometimes, you know. So even though all these things are communication, right? But is it okay to group inefficient communication methods, report card lack details and clear explanations? There's no centralized platform for sharing information, frustrated lack of communication from school. I don't have time for parent-teachers meetings. Challenges attending parent-teachers meetings.
Yeah, I think they should be together. Yeah, they should all be together, because if you realize, most of them are just single concerns under communication. You don't find related or duplicated concerns under communication.
No, but if I would argue that, and again, this is me now doing like we have brainstorming together. If I would argue that, I would then say that, well, even though they look individual, it can still be grouped. For example, I could say that there's no centralized platform for sharing information, inefficient communication method. Like these has to do with the communication from school with parents, right? Trying to, how would I put it? I can still group this together, including I'm frustrated with current system inefficiencies, because I know that the current system inefficiencies that was being talked about here mentioned is really related to the current ways where we put you know, there was one, the last one that I deleted, that says paper notes get lost. That's part of the current system inefficiencies, and that's part of the no central, is also similar to not having a centralized place to share information. We have to use paper and biro and put all this together. So I can still argue that I can put them together, for example, and some of these things that maybe what you just need to do is remove patient-teachers meetings away from all these other things that has to do with communication. So I could argue that, and your job is to argue back with me and make me see reasons why maybe you group them together, or maybe my way of putting it together is faulty.
You can, but are you going to give a different heading to it, as in just like how you did for data security and privacy concerns? If you do that, meaning it's going to separate it from communication this time.
Mm-hmm. So it means that communication can now be, we can now limit communication to the, like we can put all this as communication, but remove things like patient teachers association meetings, and move them together. For example, this limited understanding of traditional report cards, I could also put it as part of inefficient communication. Or I could even put this together as like a, again, what I'm doing, I'm intentionally scattering everything. No, I'm not saying I'm right. Victoria,
yes.
no, so I'm not saying that I'm right. I'm intentionally scattering it. So the question for you, what I'm trying to get you to do is, and we might leave it there, what I'm trying to get you to do is to really, really see that at the end of the day, sometimes sometimes the right answer that you think initially, when you look at it again, it looks like it's not necessarily the right answer. But at the end of the day, it could be the right answer, but you need to talk it out and be sure that it is actually the right answer, which is one of the reasons why I decided to say, let us do grouping, so that you are not doing this by yourself. You are also doing this with someone else, and the person is telling you, oh, maybe we should not put this there, maybe we should put this there, maybe we should group it differently. Do you get what I'm trying to drive at, Victoria and Chinonso?
Yes, I get your point.
Okay. So we are not going to, because of time, honestly, we are not going to go deep into that. What I will do, I know that tomorrow I am totally out for the program. Sunday, I'm totally going to be busy. Monday, I have a new batch of onboarding I need to do for something at work. So maybe Wednesday, I'll try and sit and try and group all these things properly, and maybe just share so you can take a look, and with how eventually I've grouped everything. But you get the logic, you get the concept. That's the most important thing. The most important thing is not doing it here. The most important thing is you getting the logic, you getting the concept. Do you understand the concept so far?
Oh, yes, it's very clear.
Victoria, Chinonso and Victoria, do you understand the concept? The concept so far, from doing interviews, then when you finish, you are putting together, like identifying your target, understanding the problem, that's number one. Number two, identifying the user category. Number two. Number three, putting together interview questions for the research you want to do. Number four, carrying out the interview. Number five, documenting your interview notes. Number six is coming up with your empathy map. Number seven is then this that we are doing, separating concerns, finding themes, finding patterns. From beginning to the end, is it clear so far, step by step, the things that you need to do?
Yes, it is. It's clear for me.
Okay, so Marv.
Yeah, it's clear. Yeah, it's clear.
So
okay, I think I'm a bit clear on this last one.
Okay.
I might have to watch the video to understand it better.
Okay. So the part that is not clear is still the empathy map part, Abby?
No, not the I understand all of that. It's this particular one I'm doing now. So I'm still trying to get the concept. Not
okay,
totally.
This one, we are still trying to get the concept on this one.
Yeah, not totally. I haven't gotten the concept totally.
Let me use a common, what happens to in life generally. Let me use it. So, do you go to the market, Chinonso? Do you go to the market a lot?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Most times when you want to, let's say at the end of the month, salary just came in, you need a number of things. You need clothing, you need food, you need all those things. You write, the expectation is that you write a list, right?
Yes, sir.
After writing the list, you know that at the end of the day, that your list might be scattered. Like you could write, and then the next thing you write that comes to your brain is toothpaste, right? So
yes.
you just write list and just make sure that everything is on that list, right?
Yes.
At that point when you are writing the list, you are not concerned, you are not bothered about like grouping things together, right? You are just trying to get everything you need to buy. You are trying to get it on paper, right? Do you understand it to that point?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So now when you want to go to the market, Ed, you will plan your movement, right?
Yes, sir. I will.
While you are planning your movement, you will be planning, okay, so I need rice, I need beans, I need spaghetti, I need noodles, I need semovita, I need wheat, I need elubo, I need gari. Most likely, all these things are food items that I can get from one Mama Shino that sells food items, right?
Yes, sir.
But Mama Shino might not be selling close-up. Or so I need toothpaste, I need toothbrush, I need bathing soap, I need sponge, I need detergents, I need hair cream, body cream. Then you start thinking about, oh, the section of the market that sells all those, that you'll be able to find all those things in one place, right? You know that what you have done is, even though you had a list that was unordered, it Chinos, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. What you have done is, even though you had a list initially that you just put everything you needed, what you had then done next is, before you set out to go to the market, in your head, even though you are not writing it down, in your head, you're already putting it that, okay, if I'm going to the market today, I will first go to this section to get these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items. Now, those items are, you've already grouped them together because you can get them in a similar space. So, for example, if you want to buy pepper, buy meat, buy all those things, the section you will buy it in the market, especially for markets that are properly sectioned, is not the same section where you find clothing items like jeans and suits, right? For jeans and suits, you need to go to a different place entirely.
Yeah.
So that same logic is what you are trying to do here. The difference is, from the empathy map, we had an unordered list. We just put everything there. But then when we now get to this point, what you are trying to do is, you are then trying to say, oh, which of all these things that are on the board, which ones go together? So while we were looking at it, we were seeing things around data security, things around privacy, things around concerned about data privacy, need for data compliance. We need a secure way to share assignments and resources electronically. All these are privacy and security. They fit into one bucket, and that bucket is data security and privacy concerns, which means that, assuming I am going to the market, I have grouped this together so I know that if I need this is the section of the market I am going to get data security and privacy concerns. Does it make sense to you now?
Yes, it does.
You understand the concept? So the concept is, there are a lot of things on the board. They are scattered. You want to make sense. Before you can analyze data properly, you need to clean it up and arrange it. So you want to put things together so that it then stops being 500, it then stops being 100 sticky notes on the board. It then becomes 4 categories: data security and privacy, communication problems, and maybe in this case, let's just say two so let's just say for this one, we had maybe like 50 sticky notes. The 50 sticky notes, after we have put everything together, separated it, it filters into 2 things: data security and privacy concern and communication concerns. So because the next step, let me end the next step, but we end it here. Because the next thing you want to then do is you want to come up with problem statements. Now, your problem statement is easier when you already have the grouping. So for example, a problem statement can be, how can we then create a school management system that is highly secured and respect privacy laws? That's the problem statement. And that emanates from 4 sticky notes that have been grouped to becoming data security and privacy concerns. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, for example, another problem statement, depending on how we are separating this thing. So another problem statement, let's say we put all these communications together and co. And part of it is frustration with communication, inefficient communication, blah, blah, blah. So a problem statement is, how can we create it? How might we create a system that helps schools, the school administrators, the teachers, and the parents communicate more effectively? So that's a problem statement. You know that with those two problem statements now, those are two different problem statements. The one on how can we create a school management system that is highly secured and respects privacy. That's one. The second one is communication. I can now start and that's the next step. Like that's the introduction to ideation. And like I said, I'm into the next steps, and that's where we'll start from. I hope next week we'll have more time. So after creating my problem statement now, I can then look at, okay, this is the one I want to solve. And then we'll now start ideating. Okay, let's start brainstorming ideas on how to create a school management system that that improves communication between the school and the parents. Now, again, don't forget that even though it seems that when we started this case study, what we were looking for was to create a school management system that helps with communication between parents and school. And then right now we are then defining the problem statement, and it's still the same thing. But don't forget that along the line, we've seen another thing, data security and privacy concern. Along the line too, we could have seen something else. For example, this communication, we can even divide it into two. One can tackle an efficient system for school administrators and teachers, because that's their own pain points. Because from what we've seen, the pain points of school administrators and teachers are the systems that they currently have are inefficient, number one. Number two, they are not able, they need a way to be able to reach parents and to be able to communicate quickly with parents. For the parents, the only problem they have is just communicating with the teachers. But for school authorities and teachers, they need a system that is more efficient, that helps them that removes manual data entry, or that optimizes the data manual data entry, even if you are not building an automated system, and also improves communication with parents. You see that so that means that even that communication, we can section it such that one is focused on the problem of the school, the other is focused on the problem of the one is focused on the problem of the school, the system within the school, and making sure that that's optimized. And the second is focused on the school to parents / parents to school. Does it make sense? What I'm saying, does it make sense to you? Now, all these are basically, at the end of the day, depends on how you frame them or how you want to frame them at the end of the day. But so far, does it make sense to you, Marv? Let's start with you.
Yes.
Chinonso, does it make sense to you where we are right now? Does it make sense to you? Victoria, does this make sense to you? Hi, Victoria.
Yes, it does. It makes sense.
Okay. So I think we'll stop here today. I will stop here today and we'll carry on from there. So it means you already know the next thing you're meant to do on your task. Your empathy map. Put an affinity diagram to it and just get everything sorted into identify the themes and patterns. And then once you identify themes and patterns, put summarize each theme and pattern. For example, the same way that we now put the summary for the data one is data security and privacy concerns. That's the summary for that team and pattern, team/pattern. So group them together and just summarize the sections. Let's see how many patterns or how many teams you can find for each for the product you guys are working on. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. So let's close it for today. Thank you so much for joining the class. I know it's not easy doing these night classes and all, but again, I think final just feedback. Are you learning? Is it making sense? Again, just to take stock. Victoria, you have done Victoria and Chilon, so you guys have done a program on product management before, right? The two of you. The tech for dev.
Yes, I have.
Okay, Chilon, so how about you?
Sorry, sir, what was the question?
Like, have you, I'm trying to remember, did you say you've done a PM course before? The one with tech for dev?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Ma'am, have you done any PM course before? Or are you a PM? Do you have understanding of PM before?
Yes, I have. I did one on Pendo.
Oh, Pendo. Okay.
Basics of PM.
Okay. All right.
Last 2 months. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So the reason I'm asking that, I just want to get feedback. I want to be sure that this is worthwhile for you. Even though you guys have some knowledge of PMing, is this beneficial to you? Like the way we are breaking it down and doing it, is this something that is beneficial? Is this something that, or is it still similar to the same thing that you've done in Tech for Dev or Pendo?
No. This is better because this one explains it more. It's Pendo, it's just theory. They are talking about you do this, you do that. But with this, we are actually practicing what we are learning, and it's good.
Thank you, Marv. Chinon, so Victoria, very quickly, your feedback. This compared to Tech for Dev, because I think Tech for Dev is a project. I think.
This has been really educative for me, honestly, because when I took the Tech for Dev course the other time, I wasn't really like fully available for it.
Oh, okay.
Even now, I'm actually struggling to be present for this, but this is actually better for me.
Okay, right, cool. Thanks, Victoria. Chinon, so.
Okay, I think I share same view. This is best so far because that is more of theory, but here we are actually doing everything that some of these things I don't even have idea of what it looks like and the rest of it. So, but here it's okay.
Okay, all right, cool. I just wanted to be sure that this is really beneficial. So, because if it's not, there's no point continuing. But if it is, let's continue. Let's see how far we can go. And maybe we'll not touch some topics. Maybe we'll just focus on. For me, as a PM, I think I just want to pass on this. Go out there, do discovery, and come up with features. Running the project, writing ticket, and all those things are a little bit easier to pick up, but this one is where I think the major work is, because again, after you've launched and you want something new, you might still want to go through this process again. So that's why I'm pushing it. So anyways, let's close it here. Thank you so much for joining tonight. Do have a lovely night rest, and please do try your best to do your group tasks. It's really, really important. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the night. Bye.
Yeah, thank you so much. Good night. Good night, everyone.